I'm back with next week the Hindu newspaper analysis. Here I'll discuss the important topics based on last week's Hindu newspaper. So what are those important topics? I'm not only mentioning the news article, along with that I'm going through each of the important keyword in that news item and explaining them, and I have prepared a note based on that and have uploaded also in that my Telegram channel. So you can check that and read and understand. Yeah, so let's start. So there was a news item, CP Radhakrishnan is India's Vice President candidate. Now here if you see, what are the keywords? First keywords is NDA. Next keyword is VP. Now what are these things? First is NDA is the alliance of political party, okay, led by Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP. So this is India, and against India there is UPA. Now there is India bloc, INDIA bloc. Okay. So next keyword was vice president. So when we say vice president, so we need to understand who are eligible to be vice president and what is the constitutional provision, because whatever we do in our country, that should be constitutional, correct, and legal. So we need to see what are the constitutional provision in like becoming vice president or regarding vice president. Next, what is the position of the vice president in union executive? Next, ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha, like now a vice president act as an ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. Now that is also how it's going based on which article that is being done. We need to read that also. Then how vice president get elected, that election process. We need to know. Next, what are the qualification for a person to become vice president of India, and what are the terms and the condition for removal of vice president? Now, in like when president is not available, then he acts as a then vice president act as a president. Now, based on which article we need to understand. So, what is the salary and allowance for a vice president? For the vice president. Next, if there is any important Supreme Court judgment, so that also need to understand. Why we'll read the Supreme Court judgment as well? So sometimes in main questions, UPSC main and other government job also, this will help you to enrich your answer. Now, next at the end we can finish like that. What is the significance of having the vice president for India? So let's go one by one. Constitution, if we say constitution provision, so there is a Article 63 of the Indian Constitution. So what it tells exactly this keyword: there shall be a vice president of India. So based on Article 63, we have the provision of having the vice president. Now when we talk about position in the union executive, so vice president act as the second highest constitutional office in India, just ranking next to president in order of precedence. Okay. Next, vice president, vice chairman, next ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. As per Article 64, vice president should be the ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. So what is Rajya Sabha? In our parliament we have two houses. One is Lok Sabha, lower house, and the Rajya Sabha, upper house. So in the upper house, who will be the chairman? Always vice president will be the chairman. Okay, but he is not a member of that house. Next, election process. So based on or as per Article 66, vice president get elected. So who elects vice president? He is elected by an electoral college having members of both houses of parliament. That means Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Unlike the president, basically, in case of president, the MLA, state legislature, have role. In case of president, in the state legislature, member of legislative assembly have role in the election. Okay, but in vice president election, they do not possess any role. So who conducts election of the vice president? Election Commission of India. Based on, this is an important keyword, proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. Okay. But this system we do not follow in our regular voting system, like when we elect prime minister, chief minister, or union election or the state election. That time we follow first past the poll. Okay, let's suppose there are three candidates, one having 40%, another 20%, another 10%. So whoever have the highest percentage of vote, they will be elected or they will win. Okay. Now, as per Article 66 and Representation of People Act 1951, so this is also important, Representation of People Act, okay, that I'll discuss in subsequent chapters, okay. So based on this two provision, the qualification of the vice president is he or she should be a citizen of India, at least 35 years of age, and he should be qualified to be elected as a Rajya Sabha member and must not hold any official profit. So next we'll go the terms and removal. So as per Article 67 and 68, term of the Vice President is 5 years, though he is eligible for re-election. That means, let's suppose first he has been the Vice President of India for 5 years. Again, we can people can re-elect them. Government can re-elect them. Okay. So how he can be removed? He or she can be removed by resolution of Rajya Sabha passed by absolute majority. So when we say absolute majority, that also need to understand, and agreed by Lok Sabha, special majority, not required. Okay. So these are the two terms. Remember this. So when we say special majority, what is special majority? Special majority is, let's suppose you have just an example, 100 members. Okay. So let's suppose you have hundreds, or let's suppose you have 75 members total. Okay. Or 100 member, you can say 75 members, let's suppose you have. Okay. Now we at least 2/3 of the people members should be present and vote. Now 2/3 means, what is the 2/3 of 75? That is 50, right? Now at least that means 50 members should present and vote, and the winning candidate should get at least 50% of the total vote. So 50% of 75 means, we can say it will be 35, 37, that means 38. At least that candidate, winning candidate, need to get 38 vote. 38 plus 38, 76, right? 38 vote. That means 2/3 of the members should be present and voting, and winning candidate should get at least 50% of the total members of that house. That is a special majority. Now next, so let's suppose there is a vacancy in the Vice President. Then the election should be held within 6 months to confirm that there is a continuity at least. Okay. Now when the Vice President acts as a President, as per Article 65, the President of India, in case of, let's suppose, death, resignation, impeachment, or absence of President, or until a new President assume office, the Vice President assume the office of the President. Now what is the salary and allowances for the Vice President? Vice President doesn't receive any salary in capacity as a Vice President. Only allowance as a Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So Vice President has the ex officio role. What is that? That is the Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So as a Chairman of the Rajya Sabha, he gets salary. Okay, not as the Vice President. Next, important Supreme Court judgment. Now these are the judgment in re-presidential poll 1974. What Supreme Court tells? Supreme Court clarified that election disputes related to President or Vice President can only be challenged before the Supreme Court under the Article 17. No other court has jurisdiction. That means Supreme Court has the exclusive right in deciding any matter regarding election of the President and Vice President, not any other court, not High Court, not any Supreme Court. Okay. Now next important case is Charan Lal Shahu case 1990. So what Supreme Court here tells, again reaffirm that Vice President's election validity can only be adjudicated by the Supreme Court. Again the same thing Supreme Court reiterated. So these are the two important judgments. Please make a note of these things so that you can use this in any questions regarding the Vice President's constitutionality, or let's suppose removal process kind of thing. Whatever, if there is any discussion or any topic on Vice Presidents, okay, this can help you in enriching your main answer writing. Now next, if we say about the significance, what are the significance of having Vice President? So it ensures the continuity of governance, like in case of President's death or any case removal, impeachment. So what he does, he serves as a critical link between the executive and the legislature. So, and he also maintains order in the Rajya Sabha. Next news item, we will go again. Now there is a news item like this: file affidavit in 7 days or apologize. Election Commission to Rahul Gandhi. So now here in this news article, what are the things, the keyword we need to understand? Election Commission, only the keyword which you need to understand. And next, under the same news article, there is a India bloc considers motion to remove Chief Election Commission. I think this is a different news item, but for the different days, as both have the Election Commission related things that we have, I think, made it in the same place. Okay. Now here, what are the things we will go? First, we need to understand what is Election Commission. What are the constitutional provision for the Election Commission, and what is the composition of the Commission? What is the current structure? Like how many people, how many officials are there in the Commission, and what is the appointment procedure or the appointment procedure in the Election Commission? In case of tenure or removal, what is the process? Like does the Election Commission has the proper independence and safeguards so that they can act unbiasedly? That also we need to say check. And what is the advisory role Election Commission has? And again the same thing in every question I will try to get if there is a Supreme Court judgment. That is the as per my understanding, that is one of the important topics, one of the important things we need to always remember or understand when we will write mains answer. and then we'll end up with this recent development. What is the recent development? So election commission basically is established under Article 324. Okay. Now, what is the function of the election commission? So as basically it's superintendence, direction and control of the elections to the parliament. So remember, so while basically election commission performs its like role to conduct the election. First is election to the parliament, second is election to the state legislature, third is election to the president, fourth is election to the vice president. So these are the 4 places where election commission take role in conducting the election. Okay, this is important. Okay, next, what is the composition of election commission? Initially, election commission was a single member body. Okay, they had only chief election commissioner. So next, later in 1989, so it became multi-member commission, like chief election commission plus election commissioners, and I think in 1989 that was for temporary. From 1993 onwards, it became permanent, like multi-member commission body. So what is the current structure of chief election commission? There will be one chief election commissioner, CEC means chief election commissioner, and 2 other election commissioners. So how they get appointed, election commissioner and chief election commissioner. So they are appointed by the President of India, and their terms and conditions are determined by Parliament. So what is the act based on their terms and conditions are determined? Election Commission Act 1991. Okay. So in case of tenure and renewal, they have total 6 years or until the age of 65 years of age, whichever is earlier. Chief election commissioner can be removed by a Supreme Court judge. Then election commissioners are normally other election commissioners are removed only based on the recommendation of the chief election commissioner. Supreme Court judgment. So one of the important Supreme Court judgment regarding election commission is Dhanova versus Union of India 1991. So what it tells that ECI, Election Commission of India, is not subordinate to the government. It is an independent constitutional body. That means no one should think election commission is the office of the government. It's a independent constitutional body. Okay. Next important case, TN Session versus Union of India 1985. So what it does, it upholds the validity of multi-member bodies. So 1989 onwards, it becomes multi-member body. So that validity was done by this case, based on this case, TN Session versus Union of India 1995. Then important case, Mohinder Singh Gill versus Chief Election Commissioner 1978. So what it tells, election process is under exclusive control of the Election Commission of India once it sets in motion. So if we discuss about the recent development, there is another case, Anand Barnwal versus Union of India 2023. This is important. Okay. So here what Supreme Court ruled that until Parliament enacts a law, Chief Election Commissioner and election commissioners shall be appointed by a committee consisting of Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition in the Lok Sabha and Chief Justice of India. Now, why basically this case or this Supreme Court judgment came? For that we have another things. We have an act. That act I have mentioned here. Chief Election Commissioners and other election commissioners, Appointment, Condition of Service and Term of Office Act 2023. So what it says, it will follow 2-tier selection process. There will be first a search committee, okay, and then there will be selection committee. So based on this 2-tier structure, the election commissioner and chief election commissioner and other election commissioners will be appointed. So what search committee will do? Search committee normally is led by Union Law Minister, and it includes 2 senior secretary rank officials. It prepares a panels of 5 candidates. Now then, what selection committee will do? So it comprises the Prime Minister as the chairman, then Union Cabinet Minister nominated by the Prime Minister and Leader of Opposition, and it recommends the appointments to the President. So first search committee will prepare a panel of 5 candidates, and then selection committee basically will recommend the names to the President, who will be appointed as the Chief Election Commissioner or the election commissioners. Now here you see, earlier the committee which recommends the names for the Chief Election Commissioner or the election commissioners. So that committee consisted Prime Minister as a chairman, then Leader of Opposition, and then Supreme Court Chief Justice of Supreme Court, right? CJI. Now here in place of CJI, Chief Justice of India, it has been replaced by a Union Cabinet Minister nominated by the Prime Minister. So what the oppositions are telling, that this will basically make the selection process of an important constitutional body like Election Commission of India biased. Like always, ruling party will have a say in the appointment process of the election commissioner and the other election commissioners. Now here it also has mentioned the 10-year service condition, legal immunity, all the kind of things. So please go ahead. But that is the important part. What change it has done in this new act? Okay, instead of Chief Justice of India, it is replaced with a Union Cabinet Minister recommended by the Prime Minister. So that is the change, and for that we have this discussion. So if we say about the significance of the election commissioner, it acts as a guardian of free and fair election. So all this kind of thing, you can read about this thing. Prelims fact. So next we'll go ahead with the prelims fact. So we had a mention of Mahatma Jyotiba Phule in this week's newspaper. So we need to understand, we need to know a few fact about Mahatma Jyotiba Phule. So he was born on 11th April 1827 in Satara, Maharashtra. Then you can mention he acted as a social reformer. Okay, he worked against the caste discrimination, untouchability, etc. So he worked for the women's education also. So he, along with his wife Savitribai Phule, they started first girls' school in Pune, 1848. This is important. When basically we talk about the girls' education, then we should remember his name. So that is why he is considered as the father of the women's education in India. He works for widows and orphans as well. So then he founded Shuddha Samaj. This is the most important, Shuddha Samaj. So Shuddha Samaj, it was established in 1873. It aimed at basically social equality, okay, and always challenged the Brahmanical dominance what the society of the time had. Then he had some basically literary contribution as well. He wrote Gulam Giri, 1873. Then basically, so when you say Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, like how Mahatma, the title he got. In 1888, he was honored with the title Mahatma by the fellow social reformer. Okay, you can remember this one also. So he inspired other leaders, later leaders like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, especially in the fight against the caste oppression. Next very important prelims fact is feral horse. So in Assam, I think this national park, Digbu Saiko National Park, feral horse was found. So that's why we need to know what is feral horse. So feral horse basically they are domesticated horse, okay, but they have reverted to the wild and live a free roaming in herds. That means once feral horse was domesticated, normally they used in the World War II, okay, and after that they again went into wild as they was released and there was no owner for those horses. Now those horses are known as feral horse. So where basically it's found in India, basically it's found in USA, Australia, this kind of countries. I think Australia has the most number of feral horses. That in the times of Second World War, so a lot of horses are used and all were left there. So and they went into wild again. So in India, it is present in Manipur, Assam, and Assam's Digbu Saiko National Park. So as we just mentioned about Digbu Saiko National Park, whenever you will get any national park, river, mountain, lakes, whatever you get, important thing, mountain passes, just check in the map where it is located and understand few important fact about that national park or this important place. That might be important in terms of prelims, okay, or other government job as well. So where is Digbu Saiko National Park located? It's located in Assam, on the flat plains of Brahmaputra and Lohit rivers. So here again you see we have a mention of Brahmaputra and Lohit rivers, that also need to see. So it was declared as a biosphere reserve in 1997 and a national park in 1999. So we'll now go to the map and see where this Digbu Saiko National Park is located. Digbu Saiko National Park. You see this is the feral horse, okay. Now here we have Digbu Saiko National Park. We have Brahmaputra river here, right? That was mentioned also here. So if you see, it's located in Assam. Here it is located near Tinsukia, Dibrugarh, that places. Now when we talk about Assam, let's understand few important things. So what are the neighboring states and countries Assam has? I think Assam has only one neighboring country, that is Bhutan here, right? And Bangladesh, Bhutan and Bangladesh. Only two. It has neighboring countries. So states, it has Arunachal Pradesh, it has Nagaland, it has Manipur, it has Meghalaya, it has West Bengal. It has here if we go, it has Tripura, it has Mizoram. So all these states, these are the neighboring states of the Assam. So please check that one. And I'll also recommend check the important facts on Assams that might help you in cracking government jobs. So like that, whenever we'll have some mention of any states or any country, we'll go one by one. So like that, any year will complete the whole world, at least the important one in terms of government exam or UPSC exam. Okay. Let's go back to our next item. Next item here we have mention of the mapping. So mapping, there is a mention of a country in this week's the Hindu newspaper. That was the country Namibia. So when we have a mention, as mentioned earlier also, we need to know where it is located, what are the neighboring states or countries it has. If there is any ocean it has in its coast, that also need to know. And any, let's suppose if it has any other important facts associated with it and related to India at least. So that also need to know. So let's go to the map again, Namibia. So here we could see this is Namibia. So what are the neighboring countries it has? It has in the northeast it has Angola, in the northeast it has Zambia, in the east or northeast you can say Zimbabwe, Botswana, then we have South Africa here. So and ocean wise in the west it has Atlantic Ocean. So what is the, if any other important things, and what is the capital of Namibia? That is Windhoek. So that also remember. So how you can remember, how I remember, I'll tell you. First I see this is my map, this is my India. Now we know, let's suppose if we go like this way, first we can land here. This is my just understanding technique. Mozambique. So from Mozambique, where we can go? Mozambique we have option of going to Zambia. From Zambia we can go to Democratic, we can go to Zambia, and from Zambia we can go to Namibia. Okay. So an important country like popular country is South Africa. We have cricket match with South Africa, right? So we can go like that way. We can land on in South Africa, then we have border with Namibia, right? We'll cross that and enter into Namibia. Like that, you can remember like how you can go. Let's suppose you have a ship, you are going here. Just this is a remembering technique. You can also follow your own on, or you can follow mine also. Okay. Next, we have Assam. We have already mentioned what are the neighboring countries. We have Arunachal, neighboring state Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura, and neighboring states Bhutan, Bangladesh. Next, we had a mention of Andhra Pradesh. So we'll again check what are the neighboring states it has and what are the like ocean or sea it has. Let's go to map Andhra Pradesh. When basically we see the map or we read with the help of map, it becomes easier to remember and understand. You'll never forget. But if you just read about the Andhra Pradesh is in India kind of thing, then you'll not remember. A lot of states are there, right? You know, we need to understand like where it is located, how does it look like the map. So this kind of thing. Here you see this is Andhra Pradesh, neighboring state Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Telangana. Then we have what Chhattisgarh, Odisha. We have, right? And Bay of Bengal is in the east, right? So like that, right? Now how you remember? So I'm from West Bengal, so how I'll remember? So this is West Bengal. If I go like this way, then through Bay of Bengal we can reach to Andhra Pradesh. And another thing, a lot of people go for jobs in Bangalore, right? Bangalore, we can remember like that. So I'm going to Bangalore, and the like nearby states is the Andhra Pradesh, like that. And another tourist destination Vizag, that is also in Visakhapatnam, that is also in Andhra Pradesh. Let's go to the next important news item. Here we have mentioned Dibru-Saikha National Park. So go. I'll recommend check all the important national parks Assam has. Assam has a lot of important national parks, and it has wildlife also a lot of important. So let's check that one as well. So there's next news item is regarding consumption. Okay, consumption boost. So what it's doing, risking some revenue to boost consumption will help the economy. This is the news item. Now what do we need to know? Like what is the constitutional basis? Okay, it's about the GST Council has decided to reduce or to go away with or reduce some tax rate. Okay, let's say they have proposed to make 28% tax slab as 18%, 12% as the 5%. They are going here to tax slab. Okay, now what will happen? In the news item selling, it might reduce the revenue, but it can boost the consumption. So what this is the risk government is taking. They have mentioned like that. Now, when you say about GST, you need to know what is the constitutional basis of GST. So it was introduced by 101st Constitutional Amendment Act 2016. This is very important. Remember, okay, 101st Constitutional Amendment Act. So what it does, it inserted Article 246A. This is not that much important. Just remember this thing. Just first one is important. Now, what is the current structure? It has central GST and state GST. So that it has IGST. That means when the trade happens between the states or through the states, different states. IGST, integrated GST. Now GST basically was created based on one nation, one tax initiative. So to ease the business activity. Okay, that was the aim for introducing GST. Now when we say about anything, let's say GST or anything, as I told, we need to check the important Supreme Court judgment. So we have one important case, that is Mohit Minerals case 2022. So what Supreme Court decided, GST Council's recommendation are not binding. It only have persuasive value. So that means whatever GST Council will recommend, that is not binding. Okay. So this is the recent development. It shifted 99% of the items in the 12% slabs to 5% tax rate, and 90% of the items in the 28% slab to 18% rate. That means it's aiming to boost the consumption so that GDP can increase. That means when you have money, if you spend that money, that boosts the economy of the country. But if you save, that doesn't boost that much. That is the thing. That is actually a fun fact. Now here we just mentioned that in the case, Mohit Minerals case, that GST Council's recommendations are not binding. Now we need to know what is GST Council, right? So GST Council is a constitutional body. It's based on Article 279A, that is the amended article, right? We mentioned Article 279A. So that one, you see 279A, GST Council. Now in the GST Council, who are the members? We need to know. So its chairperson is the Union Finance Ministers, and members are the Union Minister of State for Finance or Revenue and Finance Ministers of all the states or UTs with legislature. So when let's suppose anything is getting discussed and a decision need to take. So how decision will be taken? So any decision requires 75% of weighted majority. So here center has 1/3 voting power and all the states has 2/3 voting power. All the states collectively. Now next we'll go to some prelim facts. So we had a mention of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United States, FAO. So you need to know what is FAO. When it was established? It was established in 1945. It's an agency of the United Nations. So where it is headquartered? Where is it? Rome, Italy. So here you see you have mention of the Rome, Italy. Let's go to the map and see where it's Italy and how you can reach from India. So this is Italy. Now here when you say Italy, we have a lot of important things. Here we have Greece, we have Turkey. Turkey is important, okay, because Turkey betrayed us. We need to know where it's located so that we can go. So it's here which sea it has? It has Mediterranean Sea, Iranian Sea, all this kind of sea. We have Croatia is also important in terms of UPSC. You also need to know that one. This is Adriatic Sea. Now, one most attractive tourist destination is Switzerland. So if you reach Italy, you can easily go to Switzerland. So this is the thing. This is just remember a technique. I use that one. Now, so this is about Italy, and next we'll go ahead with the next item. Okay, headquarters. So we need to also know who are the members of this FAO organization. It has 194 members plus European Union and other associates. So when you say European Union, you need to know also what is European Union. It's the union of European country, mainly a union country. And next, what is the relation of India and FAO? So India is a founding member. If like India has a lot of program, right? Food security, agriculture kind of program, right? So FAO supports that. Now, based on our proposal only, this millet has been like 2023 has been declared as the International Year of Millets, right? So that FAO recognized. So this is important. So 2023 is the International Year of Millets as proposed by India, and it was recognized by Food and Agriculture Organization of United Nations, FAO. So what kind of report it publishes? You need to know. It's published State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World, SOFI, then Food Price Index, then State of World's Forest. Listen. Next important prelims fact is Sustainable Development Goal, SDG. So what is Sustainable Development Goal? It was adopted at the United Nations Sustainable Development Summit 2015 in New York. Again, we have a mention of New York. Later we'll see how we can reach there. We have that donkey route, right? So we'll not follow that up. Next here, all these things, how many goals it has? It has 17 goals. So you can check what are those goals. Okay. So now what is its objective of this SDG? Its objective to end poverty, protect the planet and ensure peace and prosperity for all by 2030. It has a target. This need to be achieved by this year. Okay. Now from India end, Niti Aayog is the nodal agency for monitoring the Sustainable Development Goal. Now what are those Sustainable Development Goal is important on UPSC standard or UPSC relevant linkages. What are the SDG has? First one you can remember important on SDG 1, that is regarding no poverty. SDG 2, zero hunger. India has this problem, right? So we need to know, and that should be important topic for UPSC. So we need to know this too. SDG 1, SDG 2. So for these things, we have some policy or flagship program, that's NFSA, Poshan Abhiyan. So you can check. You need to understand what is NFSA, National Food Safety. Then Poshan Abhiyan, what is it saying when it was released. So all these things, please read about, or later anyway, I'm going to come with this thing again in my next week's sometime. Now, if there is any Supreme Court judgment again, so Supreme Court in MC Mehta cases, environmental emphasizes sustainable development as part of the Article 21. So what is Article 21? It's a fundamental rights. It tells about the right to life. Okay, everyone has a right to have life. Okay, we can't like a Supreme Court guarantees that one. Now this is all about. Next, we have a mention of a medicine. This is a traditional Chinese medicine, Yijiao. So there was actually news item that regarding the donkey, how the numbers are decreasing. Okay, so Chinese there is a medicine Yijiao. This is a traditional Chinese medicine. So it's very much popular and getting more popular day by day in China. So what Chinese believe, they help in blood enrichment, anti-aging, immunity. Though these are not scientifically proved. Okay, so not the donkey numbers not only increasing in China, it's even impacting Africa. So that's why it might be important. Just remember this. What is EGO? Next important news item regarding International Space Station. So you need to know what is it. So it's basically is in low Earth orbit and was launched in 1988, where a space explorer or astronauts or go there and do some scientific activity. So recently our Shubhamshi Shukla went there. Okay, so that's why it's important. Shubhamshi Shukla went there. Then, so who created basically this International Space Station? NASA from USA, Roscosmos from Russia. This is a prelims fact. NASA USA, Roscosmos Russia, ESA European Space Agency Europe, JAXA Japan, and CSA Canada. So it basically a symbol of international cooperation. So it orbits Earth at around 400 km altitude, so completing 16 orbits per day. Now this is the largest man-made structure in space, visible to the naked eye from Earth. So have you ever observed? Please let me know in the comment. Now, so when we'll check what is the relation of ISS and India, International Space Station India. So India is not a partner yet, but cooperation possible through Artemis Accords and future space diplomacy. So India has its own plan of having its own space station. Okay. So now coming to India, we have Gaganyaan. So that will be India's first human spaceflight mission. So remember that one. Now key feature, so you can read about it. It will use GSLV Mach 3 as a launch vehicle. So you can check that on. So once it will be like India will achieve this thing again and make it successful, it will make India the fourth country to send humans to the space indigenously. Fourth country to USA, Russia, and China. This is a big achievement for India. So we should be proud, very much proud. Next, important item we have UNSCR. What is UNSCR? So that we need to know. What is its mandates? What is its headquarters? Okay. What is legal framework? All these things we need to know. So it basically works for the refugee settlement. So when it was created 1950 by the UN General Assembly, its headquarters Geneva, Switzerland. So just read about this. It won Nobel Prize twice, 1954 and 1981 for humanitarian work. Now, when we say about the relation between with India, India is not a party to the 1915 Refugee Convention or 1976 particle. However, UNSCR offers India with limited mandate for Tibetan and Sri Lankan refugees. Okay, largely handled by the government of India. So normally, wherever basically it has refugees, a lot of refugees, right? Wherever the war-torn countries, like people flee from there to some European country, right? So it has a lot of refugees and some other neighboring countries. So it manages those. But in case of India, India has a lot of Tibetan refugee and Sri Lankan Tamil refugee. That basically they do not handle. They are maintained by government of India. Remember that one. Next important item is periodic labor force survey. So we have mention of this in this week's in the Hindu newspaper. So you need to know what is periodic labor force survey. So it is who basically published it or introduced it. It was introduced by the National Sample Survey Office (NSSO) in April 2017. What is the objective? To provide timely, reliable labor force statistics on employment, unemployment, labor participation, all this kind of thing. So this help us in understanding the unemployment condition or employment condition of the country. Okay. So frequency basically we also check, and so it helps in assessing progress in SDG 8. What is SDG 8? Decent work and economic growth. So let's suppose you are working in an organization, how the work environment there. It helps with that understanding. Next we have mapping. We have mention of China. China is very much important. Like they are competing with the US, right? So we need to know the China and the bordering state. This is China. China has Mongolia in the north, Russia in the north, then Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, India. Then we have Afghanistan. Important thing. Then we have India, Nepal, Bhutan, Myanmar, Laos, Vietnam. A lot of countries it has, right? It has most important one of the important topic, South China Sea. Okay, where all this like China is claiming a lot of islands, which others like Vietnam, Philippines is also claiming. There's a clash. Okay. Then we have East China Sea. That is not much important, but we have Taiwan. That is they have some issue with Taiwan, right? Like they want to make Taiwan as part of China, but US is supporting Taiwan. So a lot of things are happening over there. So China is a hot topic for USA, for UPSC. One important thing you see, China doesn't have any border with Pakistan as per the map, but it's working on the China-Pakistan economic corridor. How it's doing? So basically, what map we see that India doesn't have control over all. Like here, a good amount of part is occupied by China and India, China and Pakistan. So it's going to the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, POK, the China-Pakistan economic corridor, CPEC. So that also you read about the what is CPC. So anyway, again, as I said earlier, I'll cover this topic also in upcoming weeks. Whenever there will be mention of these things in the newspaper, I'll again go deep with that. So next we have a mention of Ukraine. So Ukraine, where it is located? Ukraine, by basically what are the neighboring state? This is an important topic because there is a conflict is going on between Ukraine and Russia, right? So that also need to know where is Ukraine located. And this is Crimea. Crimea was annexed by Russia in 2014, right? So now Russia is claiming the eastern part, a lot of places. So that then only basically they will stop the war. So there is a supporting cases for both the sides, Ukraine and Russia. So that one day we'll discuss about that one. India is supporting the peaceful resolution. So yeah, because of this issue, so US is telling they are putting tariffs pressure on India, like they have made it now 50%, right? That's simply injustice to India, though. So again, we can also discuss basically what is the trade deficit between India and USA and why USA can't do this thing. This is unilateral sanction they have they have put on us. That is not justice. So we'll discuss on this topic in future or upcoming weeks for sure. Now next important item is Article 143. So why there is a mention of Article 143? So it's about the advisory jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. That means whenever there is any topic or any questions of law which is of public importance, which has already arisen or is likely to arise. So there, or on more cases, basically if there is any question on any pre-constitution treaty, agreement, mandates and that kind of thing, pre-constitution means before constitution came into effect. So if there is any question on that also, President can refer that to the Supreme Court for its opinion. But there is a two scenario. When the question of law is on public importance, the Supreme Court may or may not tender its opinion. But when it's about any pre-constitution treaty, then Supreme Court must tender its opinion. Okay. Now here a lot of things I mentioned. Please go through it. Next important news article is, should SEC sit powerless as governor blocks bill? This is a statement from Chief Justice of India. So we need to know the constitutional provision regarding Supreme Court of India. So when it was established, the composition of the Supreme Court, appointment of judges, tenure of the judges, then removal of the judges, how they can be removed or impeached, jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, original jurisdiction, two types of jurisdiction it has. One is original jurisdiction and another is appellate jurisdiction. We need to know both. So, and okay, it has advisory jurisdiction also. It has three. Advisory jurisdiction is under Article 143, we just discussed. So that is. Now, the judicial review process, all this kind of thing, basic structure doctrine, this is the most important things. Basic structure doctrine that we need to know. So let's go one by one. So Supreme Court was established on 28th January 1950 as per Article 124 of the Constitution. So it replaced the Federal Court of India and Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. So originally it had the Chief Justice and only 7 judges. But today, after 103rd Amendment Act, it has a sanctioned strength of 34 judges, including Chief Justice of India. So number of judges has been increased a lot, right? Though still, I think they are not enough because India has a lot of pending cases, like Supreme Court has a lot of pending cases. So that's why there's discussion is going on to have like more judges, I think. Appointment of judges, how basically they are appointed. So judges are appointed by the President of India after consultation with judges of the Supreme Court and High Courts. So it follows a collegium system. So we'll discuss on that also. This is a hot topic, collegium system. Government is proposing some different system like National Judicial Appointment Commission, NJSC, but Supreme Court is going with this collegium system. Basically, collegium system, Supreme Court, the judges has all the powers over it, but government doesn't have control. That's why government is proposing a unbiased way, like how judges can be appointed, so that people judge of the who doesn't have any family background or relative background in the Supreme Court, they can also get chance. So this is a topic of the debate. So as of now, we will not discuss on any Supreme Court things that is a violation of the Supreme Court right. That's not a good thing. So whatever discussion will come, whatever important topic will come, we'll just discuss on that. So tenure, normally a judges hold office until the age of 65 years. Anyway, they can resign by addressing to the President or be removed by Parliament on grounds of proved misbehavior or incapacity. Remember this one. This is as per Article 124. Recently, for High Court judge, so a lot of burnt cash bundle was found, right? So due to that, basically, a committee of inquiry was created and they recommended removal of the judges. So a lot of discussion happened on that. So I think last week we have discussed on that. Please check the uploaded document in my official Telegram channel and read about that. That is important. This is important. Article 124 of 4. So how basically they are getting removed. So here we have mentioned about the removal or impeachment process. Basically, it requires a special majority of both houses of parliament. Special majority, I just discussed, right? 2/3 of the members of that house present and voting, plus at least 50% of the total members of that house. They need to support that renewal process resolution, and it happens based on Judges Inquiry Act 1968. So, what kind of jurisdiction it has? It has original, appellate, and advisory jurisdiction. So, what is original jurisdiction? Basically, it disputes between the union and the states, or between the states. So wherever there is any disputes of this kind of thing between the states or union and states, then Supreme Court is the original jurisdiction. That comes under original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Next, we have appellate jurisdiction. So it's a highest court of appeal in any civil, criminal, or constitutional matters. Let's suppose there is a mandate, there is a basically judgment in High Court. You can challenge that after going to Supreme Court. That comes under appellate jurisdiction. Next, we have advisory jurisdiction. That is under Article 143. Basically, the President can ask for advice from the Supreme Court in any case which is in any question of law which is of public importance, which is already arisen, which is likely to arise, or any questions on any pre-constitutional treaty. Okay, we just discussed that one, right? So please check in this document, everything is clearly mentioned. Now it has judicial review power. Basically, it acts as the guardian of the Constitution and has the power of judicial review. That means it can review its own judgment. Let's suppose first it gave some judgment, later it can review that whether that was correct or not, right? So that happens based on Article 32 and Article 136. It has only landmark cases for judicial review. That's Keshman Bharati versus State of Kerala, 1973. Now, next we have public interest litigation. What is this? Check that out. So it comes under PLI. You will heard a lot of times PLI, public interest litigation. So that falls within the scope of Article 32, right to constitutional remedies. Okay, this is important. Article 32. Remember that one. So it has read jurisdiction. So as per Article 32, the court can issue 5 types of writs. This is very much important for any government jobs. One is habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, certiorari, quo warranto. So it's all are basically to enforce the fundamental rights. If anything is getting violated, so people, the aggrieved person can reach to Supreme Court directly, or the High Court also, Supreme Court directly, and it under Article 32, Supreme Court can issue this kind of writs. Now, next, one of the most important things is the basic structure doctrine. So wherever you will heard a lot of times this 101st Amendment Act, 102nd Amendment Act. Amendment means they are making some change in the Constitution. So what Supreme Court tells in this basic structure doctrine, like in the Krishnananda Bharati case 1973, so Parliament can amend the Constitution, no problem, but it can't change the basic structure. Now, here question is, what is basic structure? That is not mentioned anywhere. So that is also thing. So the court basically check that, and based on the articles, based on the Constitution, what should be the basic structure? Like basic structure, you can at least fear things like that. Democracy, that is the basic structure, right? So democracy, if any act, if any amendment is taking that away, that is the court will not permit that. That will violate the basic structure. So only, well, I'll discuss about the basic structure. This is a big topic actually. A lot of things need to be discussed on this. Now, recent development, what are the cases going on? So what the Supreme Court plays role in the democracy, maintaining the democracy, that also you can check. It basically ensures the principle of separation of power, right? 42nd, we have a mention of 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, that is 1976. Basically, when Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister, she had made huge changes in the Constitution. So that time, a lot of new things got inserted in the article. Like one of the things is, you can say, secular, socialist. This thing, they have this amendment, 42nd Amendment, inserted, okay, in the Constitution. A lot of other changes also. So please check that on. So in the preamble, what changes they did? It inserted the word socialist, secular, and integrity into the preamble. Now, how it reads now? So sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and unity and integrity of the nation. So next, it has made some change in the fundamental duties. Basically, it inserted Article 4A. It inserted Part 4A under Article 51A. Sorry, I'm reading incorrectly. Fundamental duties, basically, they have inserted and they mention it under Article 4A. This is a new part, and article number is 51A. So it's list 10 fundamental duties of citizen. So earlier, the Constitution had fundamental rights. What states can't do to a citizen of India, okay? But now it is mentioning what citizen should do towards the country. So it was this fundamental rights came into picture based on the recommendation of the Sharan Singh committee. So this is important. This question might ask, like, fundamental rights was recommended based on which committee? You can say Sharan Singh committee. So here in this amendment, basically directive principles got the priority, okay, over fundamental rights. So that is also one thing. Now, few fundamental rights was curtailed. Please check this and go through this document. So it was known as mini constitution because it made over 50 changes. It was criticized for promoting authoritarianism, so curtailing fundamental rights and undermining federalism and judicial independence. So though a lot of provisions were rolled back by the next Amendment Act, next Amendment Act, that is 44th Amendment Act 1978, when Janata government came into power in the center. So that time they brought this amendment to revert back few of the lot of changes inserted by or brought by 42nd Amendment Act. That also we need to remember. Next important thing is collegium system of judicial appointment. So how Supreme Court judges are appointed, Supreme Court, High Court judges are appointed. That's basically with the recommendation of collegium system. Now collegium system consists of Chief Justice of India and 4 senior most judges of the Supreme Court. So High Court collegium system consists of High Court, Chief Justice of High Court and 2 senior most judges. So how it was evolved? So it was evolved through judicial interpretation in 3 different judges cases. So remember this one, first judges case 1981. So it gave primacy to the executive. That means executive, let's suppose President, Supreme Court says recommending 5 names, recommending something, but President may take it or not take it, that recommendation at all. That means it gave primacy to the executive. Like who will be the Supreme Court Chief Justice of India, that President can decide. He or she can either accept the recommendation proposed by the judges or Supreme Court, or he or she may not. That is up to him or her. Okay. So second judge case 1993. So it introduced the collegium system. Now it reverted its earlier judgment. Now it gave the primacy to the judiciary. That means whatever recommendation will be given by the Supreme Court, that President should consider, must consider. Now third judge's case, so 1998, it expanded the collegium system to Chief Justice of India plus 4 senior most judges. So till 1998, until 1998, it was only Chief Justice of India. He was recommending who will be the next Chief Justice of India, kind of, judges of Supreme Court. Now here it's expanded the collegium system. Not only Chief Justice of India, Chief Justice of India along with 4 senior most judges, they will give the recommendation to the President, and President should work accordingly. So collegium systems recommends names for appointments of the judges to the Supreme Court, High Court, and for the transfer of judges across the High Courts. So it has lot of power on the judiciary. So it's binding on the government. What is its objective? So its objective is to ensure independence of judiciary. Okay. So that let's suppose what their argument is, if government or executive has the full control over the judiciary, who will be the Chief Justice or judges of the Supreme Court or High Court, then those judges can be biased. That's why they came with this this mandate. Now, so there are some transparency issues. So basically there is some criticism for opacity and nepotism. Like let's suppose if someone's relative is there in the Supreme Court judge, they are getting priority. So that was on the criticism it has. So for that, basically government came with this one, the National Judicial Appointment Commission, NJAC. Though this was struck down by the Supreme Court as unconstitutional for violating judicial independence. Thus, again, collegium system is in place. Okay. So government is attempting to reform that one anyway. Next important item to discuss is the World Trade Organization. So there is a mention, basically USA put some additional tariffs of 50%, right, which is injustice I just mentioned. Now for that, basically China tells that India and China can fight against that in the WTO. So then we need to know what is WTO. WTO is the World Trade Organization. Okay, it was established in 1st January 1995. This is important, remember that. So earlier it replaced General Agreement of Tariff and Trade, GATT 1948. And so this thing, remember, so its headquarters located in Geneva, Switzerland. Now what its objectives? It promotes free and fair international trade by reducing trade barriers. Like let's suppose how US is putting the unjustifiable tariffs. Basically, it doesn't allow that one. Now, how basically if any dispute is there, so how it will be settled. So it has a strong dispute settlement body, DSP, which provides a legal mechanism to resolve trade disputes between the member nations. Okay. Now, India, we need to know the relation between India and WTO. India has actively engaged in WTO negotiation, especially on issues like food security, agriculture subsidies, etc. Now, next important items to discuss is Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has planned to visit Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So that meeting. So that in that way it is important, because now relation between India and US is not good enough, right? So India is trying to make relation good with China. So when it was created as a Shanghai 5 in 1996. Later, Uzbekistan joined in 2001 and made it as Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So what are the members of this organization? It has China, Russia, India, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Iran, and Belarus also. Not actually, it has wrong information. Please remember this. This should be 10 members, not 9 member states. Okay, it's my issue. 10 members, not Belarus joined 2024. That's why it's 10. So when India became the members in 2017, both India and Pakistan becomes its member. So I'll make correction of it. I'll make the correction. I'll mention the same things in the comment section. Please check the note uploaded in my official Telegram channel. This is my channel. I have uploaded the document already. So here and in the YouTube comment also, I'll mention that it is SCU has 10 members, not 9 members. Please let me know if you have any confusion or if you need any clarification on any topics. My aim is to cover all the important topics, whatever is coming in the Hindu newspaper or other newspapers, and which are relevant to the UPSC exam. So it will not only help the UPSC IS exam, it will help other central government or state government jobs. So please let me know if you need any content on any special topic where you have some issues in understanding. I can help with that also. Thank you everyone. Thank you. Bye.